You never believed in ghosts. Not really. Stories of spirits, hauntings, and restless souls were for children and old wives with too much time on their hands. But now, standing alone in the cold night, your breath misting in the air, something about this feels different. The fog clings to your skin, thick and damp, making every shadow stretch long and darker. You pull your shawl tighter around your shoulders, wishing you hadn't agreed to meet Charlotte at the pub so late. You glance over your shoulder again, nervous in a way you've never been before, but the street is empty. The rumors have been swirling for weeks of a ghost haunting the graveyard just beyond town. A spirit, some say, wrapped in white, roaming the streets of Hammersmith after dark. You scoffed at first. What nonsense. A ghost? Surely someone was playing tricks on a town, dressing up and scaring people out of their wits. But each story is more terrifying than the last. The local butcher swears he saw a pale figure drifting toward him, silent as death. And Miss Holloway, she's barely left her home since the night she said she heard something tapping at her window. Still, you've never been one to let fear get the better of you, but tonight feels wrong. The narrow lane stretches ahead, the graveyard just beyond, cloaked in shadows. The gas lamps do little to pierce the mist, leaving only a dim glow in the air. You keep walking, faster now, your boots echoing against the cobblestones. A chill runs down your spine. You glance around and nothing, just the fog. But then, from the corner of your eye, you see it. A flash of white. You stop dead, heart pounding in your chest. The world goes silent. The distant hum of the town fades, and all you can hear is the rapid beating of your own pulse in your ears. Slowly, you turn your head, praying it's nothing, but it's there. The figure stands at the edge of the graveyard, shrouded in the swirling mist. Its form pale, almost translucent. It's human-shaped, but it's wrong. Too tall, too thin. It just seems to float just above the ground, as if the earth itself refuses to touch it. You freeze, every muscle locked in place. Your mind races, but you can't make sense of what you're seeing. It must be a person, you think. Someone playing a cruel joke. But as the figure shifts, moving ever so slightly toward you, the way it glides, silently, unnaturally, sends a jolt of terror through you. "Who's there?" You call, your voice shaking, though you try to sound firm. The figure doesn't respond. It doesn't stop. It just keeps moving closer. Your breath quickens, and you feel the first sharp pangs of real fear. You take a step back, and then another, but your feet stumble over an unseen cobblestone. A cold sweat trickles down your back. You turn and break into a run, your heartbeat now a drum pounding in your chest. You don't dare look back, too terrified of what you might see. The night swallows your footsteps, but you can feel it. The ghost, it's behind you, and it's closing in. Your legs burn as you sprint down the lane, your breath ragged, but the fog grows thicker, making it harder to see. Every shadow seems to move, twisting in your periphery, each one looking like a ghost until it fades back into the mist. Your mind plays tricks on you, or maybe it's not a trick at all. Maybe the ghost is everywhere, surrounding you. You round a corner, slipping on damp stones, your knees scraping as you catch yourself just in time. You can hear it now, faint like the whisper of fabric in the wind, a soft rustle. It's behind you. You know it's behind you. You don't dare look back. Instead, you stumble to your feet and run again. But the ghost is relentless. You can feel its cold presence brushing against your skin. Its invisible fingers reaching for you. It's not a person. It can't be. No one moves like that. So silent, so fast. The terror grips you tighter, squeezing the air from your lungs. Your legs ache, but you can't stop. You have to keep running. You have to get away. Your house is close, just a few more streets, a few more steps, and you'll be safe. You can make it. You can. A sudden chill wraps around you, freezing your blood. The air grows so cold that your breath becomes frost in the fog. The world goes silent. The sound of your footsteps gone, your breath stolen from your lungs. And then you hear it, a soft voice, whispering right by your ear. "Why do you run?" You scream, but you don't know if the sound escapes your lips or dies in your throat. But you run faster, heart hammering, limbs shaking. You can't feel your legs anymore. You can't feel anything but the icy grip of terror. You're almost home. Almost. The ground slips out from beneath you and you fall, your hands scraping against the cold, hard stone. Pain shoots through your knees and palms, but it's drowned out by the terror pounding in your skull. You try to push yourself up, but something brushes your ankle. Cold, thin, like fingers. You kick out wildly, scrambling to get to your feet, your vision blurring with panic and fear. The ghost is there, right behind you, its pale form bending over you, closer and closer. You feel it. Its icy breath on the back of your neck. The fog thickens around you, swirling like a living thing, wrapping itself around you and pulling you in. You claw at the ground, desperate to escape, but the mist is too thick. The cold seeps into your bones, paralyzing you. The whispering grows louder, a chorus of voices now, all around you, all saying the same thing. Why do you run? The last thing you see before darkness takes you is the pale, hollow face of a ghost leaning in, its eyes empty, its mouth a gaping void, and then everything goes cold. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Stone Rock. If it's your first time here, welcome to the channel. Today, we're talking about the Hammersmith Ghost. This is it's a particularly, if I could speak, that would be awesome. It's a particularly cool story, in my opinion, although unfortunately it did end up with some poor innocent man's death. This is a very real thing that happened in Britain, the UK, for everyone that wants to call it the UK, and it happened a long time ago, like 1800s. So if you like what we do here, remember to like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the story. If you have any other information to add to the story. And without any further ado, let's get into it. In the winter of 1803, fear gripped a small village of Hammersmith just outside of London. The villagers whispered of a ghostly figure that haunted the churchyard, a spirit whose presence would soon lead to a tragic death. This is the story of the Hammersmith Ghost, a chilling tale of superstition, panic, and murder. The first sightings of the Hammersmith Ghost began in November 1803. Local villagers claimed to see a tall, pale figure draped in white, wandering the churchyard late at night. The figure was described as glowing in the moonlight, moving silently through the fog-covered gravestones. According to the rumors, the ghost was believed to be the restless spirit of a man who had died by suicide. In those days, suicides were considered unholy, and a church refused to bury them in consecrated ground. Many believed this restless soul was wandering the graveyard in torment, trapped between the worlds of the living and the dead. The sightings were frequent and unsettling. Locals spoke of the figure's ghastly appearance, pale as a corpse, and with a spectral glow. Those who saw it reported a feeling of overwhelming dread, as if they were in the presence of something unnatural. Over time, the fear spread throughout Hammersmith. Fear of the Hammersmith Ghost soon began to grow into hysteria. People refused to leave their homes after sunset. Stories circulated about physical attacks, of the ghost strangling villagers or knocking them to the ground. One account told of a pregnant woman who had been so terrified by the apparition that she fainted and later died from shock. By December, sightings of the ghost had become a nearly nightly occurrence. The churchyard and surrounding streets were avoided at all costs, with even the bravest villagers unwilling to risk an encounter with the apparition. Local authorities were at a loss, unable to explain or capture the ghost, while the villagers grew increasingly desperate for protection. As the panic reached its peak, one man, Francis Smith, a night watchman, decided to take matters into his own hands. On the evening of January 3rd, 1804, armed with a shotgun, Smith set out on patrol through the streets near the graveyard, determined to confront the ghost. What followed would forever change the course of his life. That same evening, Thomas Millwood, a young bricklayer, was walking home from his sister's house. Millwood, dressed in his work clothes, white trousers, white shirt, and a white apron, was unaware of the danger ahead. In the fog, his white clothing made him appear ghostly, a fact that would prove fatal. As Smith saw the figure of Millwood emerge from the mist, he believed without a doubt that this was the ghost. In the heat of the moment, he raised a shotgun, called out a warning, and when the figure did not respond quickly enough, Smith fired. The sound of the blast echoed through the night. Thomas Millwood was killed instantly. When Smith rushed to the figure and saw the blood pooling beneath him, he realized the horrible mistake he had made. This was no ghost. He had shot an innocent man. News of the shooting spread quickly. Smith was arrested that night and charged with murder. Thomas Millwood's family, devastated by the tragedy, would never forget that moment, when fear and superstition turned deadly. The trial of Francis Smith took place shortly after the shooting. Smith pleaded not guilty, insisting that he had acted in self-defense, believing he was confronting the ghost that had terrorized the village. The court, however, was not swayed. The jury deliberated on whether Smith's actions could be justified under the circumstance, but in the end, the law was clear. Smith had killed an unarmed man without provocation. He was found guilty of murder and sentenced to death by hanging. Public outcry followed the trial. Many felt that Smith's actions, while tragic, were understandable given the widespread fear of the ghost. As a result, Smith's death sentence was eventually commuted to a year of hard labor. But for Thomas Millwood, the tragedy was irreversible. The story of the Hammersmith Ghost raises a question. How could an entire village be so consumed by fear that it led to the death of an innocent man? Many historians point to the concept of mass hysteria as possible explanation. Mass hysteria occurs when a group of people experience a shared delusion or panic, often in response to fear, uncertainty, or superstition. In Hammersmith, the fear of the ghost was fueled by rumors, embellished accounts of attacks, and the belief in the supernatural. As panic spread, the villagers' imaginations began to fill in the blanks, turning the unknown into something terrifying. It was later revealed that the ghost had been a hoax all along. A local shoemaker had been disguising himself as a ghost to frighten people as a prank. He claimed he had no intention of causing harm, but his actions had deadly consequences. In hindsight, the Hammersmith Ghost was not the spirit of a tormented soul, but rather a case of fear and superstition spiraling out of control. A reminder of how easily the human mind can be swayed by fear, especially in times of uncertainty. The Hammersmith Ghost case has lived on in history and legal precedent. The case is often cited as one of the first to question whether someone can be held accountable for actions taken under mistaken belief, laying the groundwork for future debates about self-defense and mistaken identity in a court of law. While the case is not as widely remembered as some ghost stories, it has appeared in discussions of legal history and British folklore. Its legacy remains a fascinating blend of supernatural, human fear, and the law. In the end, the Hammersmith Ghost was never a real ghost at all, but the fear it instilled was very real, and consequences of that fear still echo through history. The story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder of how the unknown can drive us to unimaginable actions with tragic results. So, what do you guys think of the Hammersmith Ghost story? To me, it's certainly a case of mass hysteria. There's really no other way to put it. It truly is a tragic tale. I can't think of any other words to explain it other than it is a tragic tale. What happened to Thomas? With that being said, we are going to wrap up here. I hope you guys enjoyed the story. I hope you pour one out for the homie Thomas Millwood, and I hope you guys have a great day. Remember, if you like what we do here, like, subscribe, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the whole thing. If you have any other information to add, I know I have many subscribers from that side of the pond. Add it down below. Make sure you hit the bell icon. That way you're notified whenever we go live or upload new videos. If you want to support the channel, there is a merch bar down below. You can check out some merch. It's pretty cool merch. If there's anything you want me to add, let me know. I can look into that. If you want to support the channel more directly, you can become a member. I'm working on doing more members content. I'm kind of the worst at it right now, but I'm working on it. I'm trying to figure it out. You can also, there's a PayPal link up in my bio. You can also support the channel directly that way. Anything gained through it goes back into keeping all of this going. Anyways, guys, I'm going to get out of here, and I hope you have a great day. Peace out.
She's wailing their chilling call through folklore threads. I trace the line from the depths of time to where they intertwine. Each episode's a journey, a world so wide, where fear and wonder walk side by side.